My name is Sam Moser. Started at White House Communications Agency in 1981. Started there as a satellite technician, moved up to lead, and I left as the deputy CIO.
Hi, I'm Tom Burrell. I work down in the White House Communications Center as a secure communications shift supervisor. I was at WHCA from 1984 until 1999.
My name is Gary Bresnahan, and I started in the White House Communications Agency in 1979 as a cryptology maintenance repairman.
My name is Marty Williams. Was in the United States Army, served in the White House Communications Agency for 16 years.
My name is Mark Warren. I was in the Air Force. I was the White House comm for 6 years, November 1982 to November 1988.
White House Communications Agency, primary job is to give him the same level of communications that he would have sitting behind the desk in the Oval Office.
We basically moved the White House to wherever he was going to be, whether it was 5 minutes or 5 days. We moved everything.
We'd meet out at Andrews, load the equipment on the plane, we'd fly out, get ready for the president to come in, we'd do the support, we'd pack everything up, and we immediately knew whether we did a good job or not.
You couldn't make a mistake. I mean, it was a zero failure environment. There was a problem with the secure phone during the day, and while the president was in the Oval Office, we had to crawl under the Oval Office floor, and when we went under there, the Secret Service agent asked us if we valued our job. Why are you asking? He goes, because I do, and if you make any noise, we'll all be out of a job.
When you're in WHCA, we're the unseen. So our job, a lot of times, you did everything you could do, but you tried not to be on camera, ever. And if you did, it cost you quite a bit of money because basically you paid the bar tab. So on one of my first trips, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and my job was to, at the airport, was to plug the nose wheel of Air Force One. When the plane stopped, all communications shut off, so I would plug it in, there'd be a telephone line. So now the plane could still communicate. President does his event, then he comes back. Well, now I'm standing by to unplug the plane. So I'm standing behind to the side of the stairway so that I'm not on TV, he can't see me. Well, he's halfway up the stairwell, he stops and leans over the stairwell and starts waving. So I look behind me to see who he's waving at. There's no one there. So I finally wave. We had pagers at the time, and it wasn't like the little digital pager. No, it's an audio pager. It blows up. You owe us beer. You owe us, and this is in voice. And so I wave, he gives me a wink, and then goes on up the stairs. But that was the first time where you go, the president actually, I'm it. There was no other people around, but he wouldn't leave. And how he saw me, I have no idea.
Our job was to be wallpaper if a principal came into the room, and he would come over and say, "Hey, I'm Ron," and shake your hand, and just a wonderful guy. President Reagan had been touring Ireland, and the morning that he arrived, he picked up the telephone and said, "Oh, hello, Signal. I hate to ask this of you, but I was in Ballyporeen, Ireland yesterday, and I was there because my grandfather came from there, so it was kind of a homecoming." And he said, "While I was there, I was talking to this lady. I was wondering if you could find her. Her name was Clancy." Ballyporeen at that time was a cord switchboard, servicing like Mabel, the switchboard operator, and Andy Griffin. And she said she had 30 Clancys in town, but one of them was a pub. And I said, "Well, give me the pub because they're going to know who's who." And I called through, and proprietor answered the phone, full Irish brogues. And I said, "Yes, sir, this is the London White House calling, and President Reagan's calling. We're looking for a Nurse Clancy who's home from working with war wounded." I said, "Would you happen to know a Clancy that falls into that?" And he said, "Well, sure, it's my daughter, Margaret. Margaret, get your arse down here. The President of the United States wants to talk to you." So I got her on the line, and I gave her a briefing, and I called back to the President. And I said, Mr. President, you're called Nurse Clancy. He said, oh, I know, that was too hard. Don't worry about it. Forget it. I said, well, you'd still like to talk to her, wouldn't you, sir? And he said, well, yes. I said, well, her name's Margaret. Go ahead, please. And they talked for a while, and then he called down again, and he said, how did you do that? And I said, magic, sir.
I did manage to get up to the ranch a few times, even though I didn't really work up there. We do a lot of equipment testing. He came out after he finished his radio address, and the mill aide told him that the photographer wasn't there. So we all heard that, and we thought, no, we're hosed. We're never going to get a picture. And the mill aide said, well, he's on his way up. He's driving now, but it'll be about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So the president looks at him and says, okay, we'll wait. So he just started telling us stories and talking and asking us where we were going and what we're going to be doing after we left, and it was just great.
I had a couple experiences directly with President Reagan, and one was in a holding room, which we referred to when he traveled. They put him in a holding room before he went out to his event on stage or whatever it might be, and we would have a secure voice piece of equipment in this room, and the secure voice technician, in this case me on this trip, just sits there, and we used the term babysit the classified equipment. So there was always somebody with the equipment. And he came in one time and was in the room, and him and I were there for like 15, 20 minutes, and there was nobody in there but him and I. He was very humorous, very approachable, and a very kind man. He made everybody, us the little people, if you will, feel like we were part of the team.
He brought we. It was always we. It wasn't, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. He'd use that once in a while, but at the end of the day, it was about we. You could feel that as a country, it was we will grow. The people, the country, making America the best that we could possibly be.